Look, I think the rain is bringing hope. After years of dust storms and horrific conditions, the coronavirus is adding additional stresses, though, things that we kind of take for granted. Your trading partners are closed. They're getting trouble getting raw materials. And now we're actually also, with borders closed, farmers having trouble actually even harvesting crops. So things like, having backpackers come in and harvest means that there's going to be smaller harvest abilities, concerns with getting even spare parts. So if a harvester breaks, the concern is that they're not going to be able to get any of the crops actually out.
Because it's not only a financial crisis, it's extremely emotional with so many uncertainties, as you mentioned, with coronavirus playing a major role in people's mental health as well.
Look, the emotional strain of having years of drought, the social isolation, and now the uncertainty of coronavirus is definitely creating additional emotional stresses. As with the rest of the country, remote Australia and are seeing rises in substance abuse, domestic violence. All of those other stresses are actually playing out on our farms at this point in time as well.
How did you deal with the complete lockdown? And I know Victoria has stage 4 restrictions in some areas. A lot of the work that you and your team do is to make face-to-face contact with farmers. How did you deal with it?
Oh gosh, talk about being innovative, Janie. We had to turn everything upside down. We've been making lots of physical phone calls to check in and make sure that people are okay. We've been doing video conferencing, which has created a number of other challenges because reception in remote Australia is not what we expect in metro. But even doing crazy things like having architects work remotely and accountants work remotely just to figure out ways to relieve some of that stress.
It has been very amazing to see some of the wonderful things that people are doing, thinking outside the box. What about labour shortages due to the blocked borders and a lack of foreign workers?
If anybody has some spare time to help, please let us know. Because of the locked borders and restrictions, we're having to be really selective about volunteers that we send out to help people now who really do need our help. So we're having to increase the size of our volume pool probably by double just because of the complexity of closed borders and travel restrictions. We're really looking for people in New South Wales and Queensland at the moment, where we've got a large majority of people really needing help. We've got everything that you can possibly imagine. We've even got a single dad who's really trying to keep his farm going at the moment and just looking for somebody to help with just general duties. So you don't have to have a huge amount of skills in order to help people out.
And it actually makes you feel good too, doesn't it, when you give? And of course we know farmers are known to be resilient and are certainly used to living in a socially distant world, distance world. But in terms of fruit and vegetables, markets are going to be more expensive, unable to get to backpackers in. What are you looking at in terms of the future in that instance?
Look, the markets are going to be really quite varied because some of the export markets are closed and being able to harvest some of that stock is also going to be a real challenge for people. So I will expect that there's going to be some really significant price restrictions and pressures. Some are going to come up, some are going to come down because the markets are closed and people actually being able to get goods to markets is also a challenge with the virus.
We've had a lot of generous people of late, donating a lot of money. We recently saw millions raised for the bushfire relief concerts. Has that money filtered through to the farmers, Jannine?
Yeah, look, we're starting to see some of the rebuilds, certainly in the bushfire-affected areas. The devastation has been huge, and it's only 6 months ago that we've had the worst bushfire season on record. So this is going to take a long, long time to rebuild, as is the drought. So farmers are in a financial difficulty at this point in time. So if anyone can make a conscious effort to buy Australian goods at this point in time, we're really going to need our farmers to be producing the best quality they possibly can. And the best way we can do that is ensuring that we're buying Australian meat or Australian fruit and veg wherever we possibly can.
Wonderful advice, Jannine. So we need to make a conscious effort to buy shop local where we can and to help our farmers, and also travel in our own state and territory if possible.
Oh, absolutely. And for those people who may want to help, we've got a couple of ways that people can engage and help with us. They can either volunteer their time. We would gratefully accept any donations. It's a little bit more challenging than in previous years. And we also do a barbecue at this time of year as a fundraiser, our greatoutbackbarbecue.com.au, but that's also a little more challenging this year as well. But if anyone would really like to help and support us, please just pop onto our website at frontierservices.org. We'd love to see you there.
Congratulations on all of the work that you and your team do. Jannine Jackson, National Director of Frontier Services, thank you so much.
Thanks, Jannine.
And if you or anyone you know is feeling distressed, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14 or visit lifeline.org.au/get help.